I'm Mark Saxton, and this is Back to the Drawing Board. Thank you for joining me for yet another week. Sorry I missed last week. Everything was busy, it's crazy, you know how life gets, but nonetheless, let's have some Friday night bees. Gonna be a good weekend. Let's jump right into it. Um, in the MLB, right? I kind of called it. If the Dodgers won that first series, they would win the division. If the Padres won that first series, they would have been the ones winning the division. Dodgers now up two. But what was weird is they both dropped some games in between. Nobody kind of took off after that first series last weekend, having the series in San Diego, where San Diego took two out of the three. Tonight, Padres losing to the Twins, Diamondbacks beating the Dodgers during the middle of the week. Padres dropping two against the Mariners. Dodgers able to win their series against the Reds, putting themselves two up. So, I mean, obviously, got a full month left, but I really thought that would have catapulted whoever won that first series, kind of put them in the position to start winning ball games. Hasn't been the case. It's still anybody's division. Obviously, as a Padres fan, I'm going to root for the Padres to win it and think they can do it. It's extremely possible for either team to kind of run away with it at this point. But yeah, kind of interesting. Otani was being shut down. I think he was 1 for 11 in that series. Teoscar Hernandez, I think, was right around the same in the series in San Diego. Even in the series in LA, I think Otani only got one or two hits. Um, but kind of the same ball club when it comes to hitting. Dodgers kept Machado, Tatis, and Arise off the base paths, and they won ball games. We kept Betts, Otani, and Teoscar Hernandez off the base paths. We were able to win. So it'll be interesting to see in this final stretch how it's gonna play out. Nasty Nestor, looking from the days of old for the Padres, having almost a no, or I think yeah, he had a perfect through 6 or 7. I forget now. Had a great showing. Um, so it's like I said, it's gonna be it's anybody's division. It's gonna be interesting. That NL West is all but one. It's wide open. Let's go to the American League East to start us off. In other places, Toronto only ahead by 3 now. The Yankees kind of coming back 7-3 in their last 10 on a 6-game win streak, and Boston right behind them, 7-3 with losing tonight. Detroit still kind of doing their thing, 6-4 in the last 10, in first by 9.5. Twins just not doing anything, 17 out. That's the one I called. Call for the Yankees in the AL East. Um, yeah, freaking just not doing much. And in the AL West, I called for the Ranges, who are 6.5 out. Houston's in first. My late changeup call was the Mariners to take it. They're only 3 out right now. Kind of dropping off a little bit, losing tonight, 4-6 in the last 10. Um, Houston 6-4 in the last 10 with a 3-game winning streak. And then that NL East, call for Philly to win it. They are 5 ahead, and I don't see any signs of stopping. 2-game win streak, 6-4 in the last 10. The Mets can't seem to get out of their own way. Soto doesn't know whether or not he wants to hit. Um, I mean, honestly, as much as they're paying the guy, I expected way better of a season. I think they overpaid at this point. He's just not. I wouldn't say he didn't pan out, but he hasn't. He hasn't been that guy, if you will. He hasn't been the oh shit factor, if you will. And it kind of shows in his stats where, I mean, really, he's uh, overall batting 251. 33 homers is never a bad season. 81 ribbies. 251 isn't a billion-dollar player, which is pretty much what they're paying him. You know what I'm saying? Just not that guy. I think that the Mets kind of lost that deal. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. I don't think there was many teams that weren't going to sign him. Um, I called it. I called it, that I didn't think he was going to have another breakout year. I think with all the hopping around, and I'm not saying he's not talented or isn't the guy or whatever. I'm saying with all the bouncing around and all the extra attention and all the contract disputes and all the bullshit in between, I didn't see him having a great year. 251, 33 homers, 81 ribbies isn't terrible by any means. It's just not worth that money. The Brew Crew still in charge, 6.5 up, just like I called. And like I said, the NOS is all but one. Wide open. Let's talk some wild card. In the East, you've got the Yankees having a half a game on the Red Sox, and the Red Sox 2.5, sorry, game and a half over Seattle. I expect Seattle to make a go at that division. I expect Houston and Boston to get that wild card slot. I don't know if the Jays are going to slow down. Still calling for the Yankees to win it. It's obviously it's hard to bet against that roster. The Cubs 4 games up overall, 2 over the Padres. Padres are 2 over the Mets, and the Reds losing that series to the Dodgers really hurt them. They're 5 out. Um, I don't know. Like I said, the Padres and the Dodgers could easily swap, and it could open up. I don't see the Cubs having enough gas in the tank to win that division, though. Let's move it along. College football is back, and I'm excited about it. Obviously, I'm an LSU fan, and they got Clemson tomorrow. Now, here's the thing: both teams inconsistent last year. Both teams losing games they probably should have won, winning games they probably shouldn't. Um, at least on the LSU side, Nussmeier showing that he's capable, and then showing that he's making kind of dumb bonehead plays. That defense showing up and then not showing up. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this year. As the season has kicked off, they have dropped down to number 9. Clemson went up 1 spot to number 4. And Clemson was the same way last year in the ACC, where they kind of expected big things and they just didn't pan out. So obviously, I'll be watching that game. I'm very excited for LSU's season. Brand new slate. I think they've got a shot in that SEC. I think that obviously you got your Texan, you got your Texas, Ole Miss, Bama. I think those are Tennessee. I think that LSU can find themselves in the mix and in the thick of shit. Another big game tomorrow morning, Texas, Ohio State. I don't know if Ohio State's going to come on with the come on. If that Texas defense is going to come in big, we'll see. Tennessee's got an easy one against Syracuse. Penn State over Nevada. I'm taking Penn State. Bama over Florida State. I don't know how they get to start off with Florida State. Florida State's it's just been rough for that organization, for that school. Oregon over Montana State at 1 o'clock my time. And then another big one. And I say big one because they did make a run in the SEC with Texas A&M. This might be a comeback for them. They've got UTSA. I expect them to soundly win that one. Ole Miss over Georgia State, sorry, and SMU playing East Texas A&M. Arizona State starting off with NAU, so they got to bye pretty much. So it'll be fun. Tomorrow, football is back. Next week, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Thursday, September 4th, kicks off our season. And let's just jump into the NFL and give you some of my predictions of the season. Now, I want to cover, go Pack Go, Micah Parsons deal. Absolutely huge. I saw what Cam Newton said this morning, where, obviously he's like, well, he's kind of bagging on the Packers, or they couldn't even get past Detroit, that they're not automatic Super Bowl contenders. I get what he's saying. I don't think he's right on how harsh he is being on the Packers. 2 reasons. Last season, the defense that we had without Micah Parsons was the only defense to keep the offense of the Eagles in check holding them to 22 points, not a bad game. We had a lot of injuries that game. Not an excuse. The Eagles beat us. But even with all those injuries, we were able to keep them in check and keep them close. We only lost by 10 or 11 points. I think it's 22-12, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, keeping them in check, keeping the game close with the once again, the youngest team in the NFL without a Micah Parsons. So, to say that we're not a Super Bowl contender, I think is a little outrageous. I also do believe that our defense wasn't the issue. Once again, keeping that Eagles offense in check. Our offense didn't score when they had ample opportunity. There was a couple of turnovers that we forced, and our offense wasn't able to make moves and punch it in. That being said, I think need some help on the line. And need a couple extra weapons. Obviously, when we saw Watson go down, it hurt. When we saw Jalen go down, it hurt. And why am I drawing a blank on his name? On my own receiver. Stand by. That's gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed going down hurt. Romeo Dobbs, that hurt. Dontavian Wicks came up big, in the season for us as well in certain situations. Josh Jacobs, obviously being banged up at the end of the season, and we weren't able to lean on him as hard. All those things came into play, but even when we were healthy, we weren't automatically scoring in the red zone. And that's my point. Even if you're getting field goals, that doesn't win ball games, especially against a team like the Eagles, obviously, who ended up going on and winning the Super Bowl. So my main point of all this is, yes, a great addition. Adding Micah Parsons obviously is never a bad thing. Kenny Clark, to you, sir, thank you for your time. I hated to see you go. And he was a big part of our defensive line, for a lot of years, and did some great work. It's just kind of part of the business, and like I said, love to see a Micah Parsons, hate to see a Kenny Clark go. And I think we have always been a contender. You want to call it a Super Bowl contender, you want to call it a playoff contender, you call it what you want. You never want to face the Packers team, especially if it's in Lambeau late in the season or in the postseason. We are a dangerous team. So the addition of Micah Parsons is going to obviously make us that more deadly. However, that offense still has a lot of unanswered questions. That line didn't hold up. When our guard went down, we had, I think his name was Jenkins, came in and he was holding everybody. We got called on plenty of holding calls, a couple of false starts. So, I mean, and hey, shit happens. You get pulled off the bench cold. You got to learn on the snap at a pro level. Hey, I got to get all my timing down right now. So, I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying you could tell we weren't complete offensively. And then, like I said, Josh Jacobs going down didn't help. So, although I kind of see where Cam Newton was coming from, I don't agree that the Detroit Lions is completely out of reach. I don't agree that they are going to absolutely run through us this year. I don't agree that we couldn't compete with an Eagles team because we already proven that we can with the youngest team. Micah Parsons is still young. I believe we still have the youngest team coming into the NFL. That being said, Cam Newton, I think you missed the boat because we are a lot closer than what you want to say. Now, we are a lot further than what these last reports are coming out saying that we're automatically a favorite to win the division. I think we're always a contender to win the division, especially when you talk about the heated exchange between the Packers and the Vikings, and the Packers and the Lions over the past couple of years. And the Lions have just come in and they've had their shit together against us. It is what it is. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to walk through anybody either, but it's closer than everybody wants to say one way or the other. Now, moving forward, I think it isn't crazy or isn't out of touch of reality to say if the Packers answer those questions offensively, that they can't be a Super Bowl contender and they can't be a favorite to win the division. But that's just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that the shit sticks. Because you can say the same thing about the Lions losing their coordinators, and hoping that they can still keep their shit together, and hoping that for the Vikings that JJ McCarthy is going to be that guy. We just don't know. We just don't know. And you can say what you want, good or bad, about JJ McCarthy. Fact of the matter is we don't know who that man is going to be probably until about week 4, week 5, maybe even a little bit later. And he's got a decent team around him to help him win. So for them to say anything that anything's blown out of the water or somebody's going to walk through somebody is the same thing I'm doing, throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it sticks. One thing I do know is the fucking Bears aren't going to win the division, and they're not going to fucking they're going to be under 500. I'm calling it now. You've heard it here first. They were undefeated in the preseason. I'm so sick and tired of listening to the Bears fans. Undefeated preseason. Caleb Williams. You beat the Packers. You beat the Packers when we already knew we were in the playoffs and didn't even start everybody. So okay, fucking have that one. Who cares? Fact of the matter is the Bears still ain't shit. And they still ain't gonna win shit. Moving on. My prediction for the NFC North, obviously I'm gonna say the Packers. But definitely gonna be a war between the three. It is what it is. Um NFC East, I say it's between Philly and Washington. I know that the Giants have made some additions. Shout out to Scatterboo and ASU. I just don't think that neither Dallas or the Giants are going to have what it takes to take on either of those teams. NFC South, I'm going to give it to Tampa at a first look. I mean, we don't know about Penix. We don't know about New Orleans. I know Carolina ain't winning shit. Sorry, Carolina fans. But yeah, I'm giving it to Tampa. In the NFC West, I'm giving it to the Rams. I think San Fran's not going to come back the same. They lost a lot of pieces over the offseason. The Cardinals, I believe, won't be any good as long as Kyler Murray is there, especially as long as Kyler Murray there without any decent coaching. And that's not to knock the new coach. I mean, maybe he's going to prove me wrong. As of right now, as it sits, I say Rams, then Seahawks ish. Um, let's go to the AFC East. I'm going to give it to Buffalo. I'm going to give it to Buffalo. I think that they're going to run away with it. I think that Josh Allen and company are going to make another deep playoff run, and we can discuss whether or not they can beat the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Steelers later. But giving it to Buffalo in the East, like I said, I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I think he's got arguably the strongest arm in the league. He's a tough son of a bitch. He can run, and he's not afraid to get hit. In that AFC North, man, Pittsburgh looks scary on paper. They got DK, they got Rodgers, they all their additions plus their defense. I mean, really, don't get me wrong. Tomlin, football wise, has been brilliant, keeping them in the playoffs year after year, keeping them above 500 or at 500 for fucking I don't know since before the Obama administration. Um, I think I'm going to give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, and then the Ravens going into a wild card, and that's going to be one hell of a division, especially with Joey B and Cincy. And I'm not even trying to shit on them. I just, on paper, as of right now, as it sits, I'm putting my eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. All those people out there that hate on Aaron Rodgers or say that he's too old or this or that, listen, the Packers did it wrong. They didn't give him the weapons. They don't know how to fucking draft. They've proven that time after time. So it wasn't Rodgers' fault. He's readjusted his contract for the team multiple times. Went to the Jets after he was shit on. And let's face it, it's the Jets. They didn't give him any help on that offensive line. Obviously, hit the fourth play of his first season there, he got fucking wrecked. They couldn't protect him. And they couldn't win ball games because they did what the Bears do. Let's put one quarterback in there to change the entire outcome of our organization. That's not how it works. So no, it wasn't the Jets. I think with Pittsburgh, he has more of a complete team, and I think he's going to do a lot of danger. The AFC South, man, I'm giving it to Houston by a long shot. I don't see anybody keeping up with them. I, I mean, in that division, anyways. That's just a tough division. I don't I don't know about the Titans, but CJ Stroud has proven, one, that he's a damn good kid, but he's a good quarterback. I mean, the Titans can come out, they play aggressive, they do their thing. Cam Ward, I don't know. I don't know if he's the guy. The Colts always they've been rough since Luck left. And Anthony Richardson can't seem to finish the game, and then doesn't. I don't know if his heart's in it or not. And Jacksonville and T Law. I don't know. I don't see. I see Houston running away with that division now. AFC West. That's a whole another ball game. Everybody automatically is going to choose the Chiefs. And I mean, listen, the favorites are the Chiefs for sure. I'm not going to argue that. I saw a lot of weaknesses in their game last season. The AFC, in my opinion, wasn't nearly as strong as the NFC. So I feel like they looked better than they were. Not that they're a shit football team by any means, but I just think that they were too hyped up. They were, like I said, they looked better than they actually were. The Eagles exploited that. Um, the Chargers, I don't know if they can't get out of their own way. Same with the Broncos. The Broncos had a decent defense. Bo Nickel, honestly, or sorry, Bo Nickel, that's a UFC fighter. Bo Nix, honestly, didn't have a bad year. I see him if he gets a little help on that line. They just picked up Ingram, that might help him. But I'm gonna say for right now, Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos wild card worthy for sure. Either way, football is back. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a fun season. I think that the league is closer than it has been in a few years, and we're going to see way more possibilities of outcomes than prior. So that's my take on that. Thanks for joining me for yet another week. Once again, I'm Mark Saxon. This is Back to the Drawing Board. Have a fucking weekend. Have some beers. Enjoy football. It's back. Saturday, college, all day. Let's get it.